Welcome people, welcome back to the channel. Sorry that there has been a hiatus here on the channel for 2 months. I haven't uploaded since August. My apologies on my behalf, but we are back and we are reviewing Halloween Ends. And this is the culminative ending of the John Carpenter / David Gordon Green era films, the soft reboot that commenced in 2018 up until this point now. And this is going to be a very short one for this film. And all I can say is that Halloween Ends is contrived, convoluted, and very, very messy. A lot of ideas, but just no execution whatsoever. There are things that they've done in this film that I just really cannot wrap my head around. Somewhere in this could have been a good film, but I just think that when you've got so many writers attached to a project, when you got someone that works on the screenplay, then you got someone who's working on story ideas, and you got it. Just never, whenever I've watched a film and then it's turned out not to be good, I then go to immediately the crew and I look at the writers, and it's always, when it's a bad film, it's always 3 to 4 different people that have literally thrown their ideas at something and just hoped that one of those ideas sticks and lands. And the first and second half of this film does not feel anything to what the film amounted to in the third act. And the trailers were a complete subversion for what was in the film. I mean, if you've seen it, then you know how things kind of correlate and how things can cohesively kind of happen. We're introduced to a new character that has a majority of the limelight, and with 2 characters in particular, with Allison and this new character, it's treated like as if it's some kind of teenage coming of age thing, right? And there is dialogue from both of these characters that just make completely no sense whatsoever. Now, I could have thought about a completely better way to send this era of Michael Myers into the sunset. And for me anyway, when I watch a trilogy, I like to think that, you know, the first film is an original that kind of implements its ideas and concepts onto the audience, and in the second film you almost have to deconstruct what the audience kind of knows and then show them something new to kind of liven it up a bit. And then in the third film, when you're creating a trilogy, in that third film you go back to what made the first film so great. That's how you kind of, in the essence of a trilogy, that's how you kind of play the audience a little bit with their feelings. And as well, with a third film, you can get experimental as well. And I thought just what could have been so much ultimately better is for this third, because with this third film, there is this time gap between Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. There's been 4 years since anyone has seen Michael Myers. Now, what I think would have been so cool is have Laurie Strode hunt Michael, and that, you know, in the 1978 and the reboot with 2018's version, we always have Michael as that opposing threat. Whereas I think it would have been so fucking cool if it was like you know, maybe that first 30 minutes of the film was kind of this detective avenue through the perspective of Laurie as to where does she think Michael is. And amongst that as well, I mean, what they tried to do with this whole high concept thing of what makes Michael Myers evil, I would have played around with that. But obviously, if I'm doing it, I would have actually paid a little bit more attention to paying it off. So, I mean, I can't get into too many spoilers, but if you've seen the film, it's not executed in the best way possible. And as well, I think it was a little bit too late to have something so high concept with Michael in this film. Because in a way they're thinking about how can they prolong the franchise of Halloween, you know. And, you know, it's a dead giveaway when you see Laurie Strode writing a novel in her book, you know, something along the lines of evil doesn't stay, or, you know, it just changes shape, you know. So the executives are clearly thinking about how are we going to keep the essence of Halloween, but with not Michael Myers. And we can get into a whole nother spectrum as to why Michael was not in the film, you know, for as much as what we wanted him to be in the film. That's a whole different conversation that would just boil everyone's blood even more. But yeah, what I can say is, with the studio and David Gordon Green and the writers in particular, I say this whenever I feel like a film hasn't done its job. I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and come back stronger. But for what is going to be next for the Halloween franchise, who knows? And this was a point that I've been making to a couple of my friends. I think that with this thing of creating constant trilogy after trilogy, it becomes stagnated. And I think that what we need to do is actually something similar to what we've done with what Warner Brothers has done with the property of Joker. Being, not that Warner Brothers has consistently done this year after year, but do something similar in a sense with Halloween, is try to actually create some kind of standalone film, and as a general idea is get a director with an in-out vision. And with an in-out vision, I mean a person that is not only is that person going to direct that film, but they're going to write as well. And there's not going to be any other interruption with it. And so we don't need 3 to 4 other writers. And we know that this is their vision and their vision alone. And every 3 to 5 years, then we do a new Halloween, but it's a new retelling. But doing these standalone films in a long format, doing them in a 2.5 hour span for the audience, so the audience can fully get immersed into the lore of Halloween and Michael Myers. I think that would be a great change up for Halloween, and I think it will allow more creativity amongst cast, crew and filmmakers alike. So yeah, let's stop beating the horse dead. That's the saying so, along some form of way. But yeah, guys, this film didn't hit the mark. It was disappointing, and I would give this film a 4.5 out of 10. But guys, look forward to more reviews in the next coming days. I recently watched Werewolf by Night. I watched Martyrs, Lord have mercy. And I watched, I watched the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix series that everyone's been going on about. So yeah, look forward to many things very soon. Check the description for more videos. Check out the channel if you're new. Subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of Halloween Ends. and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.